Cool temperatures are going to continue all weekend long, feeling very fall-like, but we have summer-like readings back in the forecast. We'll let you know how high the mercury is going to go over the next 10 days in a few minutes.
And there's a change in leadership at the Sun Prairie School District. Who is the new principal of Sun Prairie West? Plus, the Packers are preparing for their regular season opener against the Lions. What game plan their star quarterback is drafted. That's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening and thanks so much for being with us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric is off for the night. Well, chilly nights are ahead for the Madison region for the weekend. Alex, how cold will it get this weekend?
Upper 30s to lower 40s. How about that? It's still the very beginning of September. And we're seeing temperatures. This is what we would normally see towards the end of September going into early to mid-October. We're going to do 43 in Madison, 44 in Janesville. We can't rule out an isolated sprinkle tonight, but most areas are going to be partly cloudy, and the more clearing that we have allows more of that heat to go out to space, which allows the temperature to go down. So definitely a chilly night tonight with average lows this time of year around 55 degrees, nothing like that. This weekend, nothing reminiscent of the latter part of summer. This is what you would see again in October, 61, Saturday 63 on Sunday. But here's the bonus. Sunny skies, winds are going to be light or at least easing up on the winds Saturday, light on Sunday, so it won't feel too terribly bad in my humble Wisconsinite opinion. So here's the cold stuff. Saturday and Sunday, I mentioned we're going to warm up. There we go. Degree by degree, all the way back up to near 80 degrees in approximately 1 week. But will any of these temperatures be associated with any rain? I'll let you know when I come back in approximately 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Alex. In the news now, Monona police are searching for a man after he ran away from a traffic stop this morning. A little after midnight, officers pulled over Derek Cole after police say they were concerned about impaired driving. But during the stop, Cole drove away. A police chase followed and Cole eventually got out and ran away from his vehicle. This was near Fisher Street in Madison. A warrant is now out for Cole's arrest. If you know where he is, please call Monona Police or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. We told you last night that there's a leadership change at Sun Prairie School District, and now parents are reacting. Edward Ford, this person is now the new acting principal at Sun Prairie West High School. The school district sent this email to parents announcing the leadership change with no mention of West's former principal, Jennifer Ploger. Now, some parents say the move continues to be a lack of transparency.
Typical of the district, something happens and it gets brushed under the rug and they try to mask as much as they can without transparency.
This is all happening as Sun Prairie West's former Dean of Students, Robert Gilkey Meisegeier, faces felony charges for having inappropriate sexual relationships with students on campus. He is expected back in court next month. Well, it's once again time to get those lottery tickets. The Powerball jackpot has grown again, this time to $1.8 billion. And this marks this second largest jackpot in U.S. lottery history. The current jackpot has been rolling over since the last winner, May 31st. It's an estimated cash value of $826 million. Their Powerball next drawing, so you still have time, is tomorrow night. And if you're pumped about that jackpot, you're not alone. Despite the fact that the odds are against you, the chances of winning the top prize are around 1 in 292.2 million. Clinical psychologists actually say that when the numbers rise into the billions like this, the reward center of the brain lights up, creating the what-if fantasy.
Immediately, you begin to imagine in great detail what would happen if you won the lottery. Maybe buying a home, buying presents for people, quitting your job.
Now, medical experts say it is completely normal to daydream about that island you'd be buying with the winnings. Now, we've all talked about it, right? But they caution that Powerball fever begins to be a problem when a player spends large amounts of money they don't have, or that money is meant for something else more important. The Packers are just days away from their regular season opener against the Lions, and the starting lineups for the offense and defense have yet to be announced. But as News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells it, the team's star quarterback has a plan.
This is the home tunnel at Lambeau Field. This is where the Packers come out for every home game onto the field at the start of the game. And this is where every week the Packers either announce their starters on offense or their starters on defense. Now, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur told us this morning that he has not yet decided if it'll be the offense or the defense being announced for Sunday's regular season opener here at Lambeau Field and here on Channel 3 against the Detroit Lions. But Packers quarterback Jordan Love, with new teammate Micah Parsons, already has thought it all through, and he's got the perfect plan and the perfect vision for how the Packers should start their first game of the year.
No, they gotta do defense. They gotta do defense. Micah last, you know what I mean? The crowd's gonna go crazy. I already see it. Defense go out there first, get a 3 and out, you know. Micah get a sack on 3rd down. I already see it. We'll see.
Now, Micah Parsons is still officially listed as questionable for Sunday with the back issue that dates back to his time with the Dallas Cowboys before last week's trade, but he is expected to play maybe 25 or 30 snaps. Both his coaches and teammates alike are expecting him to play. We'll see if the defense is announced. We'll see if he's announced last. We'll see if he delivers a sack on 3rd down to get Jordan Love and the offense the ball. Whatever happens on Sunday, we'll have full coverage of it at channel3000.com for free. And don't forget while you're there to sign up for our Packers newsletter so you get our Packers coverage delivered directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
As always, thank you, Jason. And by the way, you can catch this game right here on News 3, WISC-TV. The Packers and defending NFC North champion Detroit collide at Lambeau Field. The network's pregame show, NFL on CBS, will be live in Green Bay starting Sunday at 11 a.m. and then kickoff 3:25. Well, the Wisconsin Badgers return to Camp Randall tomorrow for week 2 of the college football season. They'll face off against the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. Backup quarterback Danny O'Neal will start for the Badgers, and kickoff is set for 3 p.m. Here's a look at some of our predictions. I know you've been dying to know. Eric and I have the same prediction, with UW taking this 31-7. Andrew and Maddie like Wisconsin in this one as well. Andrew's going much higher at 41-13 with Maddie 26-3. We'll see. Ahead at 10, Alex tells us about our chances for storms next week. And President Trump changes the name of the Department of Defense. More on the old title his administration is reviving up next.
Watching News 3 now at 10. Moving forward.
Welcome back, everyone. President Trump signed his 200th executive order today, changing the name of the Department of Defense. The Trump administration is reviving the title of the Department of War. Officials with the department say Department of War better reflects the mission of the military and sends a message of deterrence to America's enemies. Well, we do have a chance for some storms early next week. Alex, will these storms be severe, and when are they coming?
I don't think we're going to be looking at widespread severe weather with thunderstorm chances as we go out into early next week. This would be Monday night, going on into Tuesday and Tuesday night, maybe even sneaking into the first part of Wednesday. And here's part of the reason why I don't think we're going to be seeing widespread severe thunderstorms. It's the temperatures. Our temperatures are not going to be in the 80s. We aren't going to be seeing significant amount of humidity as we look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're just climbing our way up into the low to mid 70s. So showers, and we could have a couple of thunderstorms, but they're likely going to be more of what I call the garden variety, where you have lightning and thunder and some heavy rain, but not looking at widespread severe weather at this time. But first, to let you know, as we go into Monday night, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms. Some of our weather models right now are really eyeing up areas just north of I-94 to be that focus for those showers and for those thunderstorms. But I do think we all stand the chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms Monday, going into Monday night, going into Tuesday, and then going into Tuesday night, with perhaps maybe another shower or two as we go on into Wednesday. So it's a bit of a change in the 10-day forecast, where a couple days ago we thought we'd be entirely dry through the 10-day forecast. The other part of our essential message, weather-wise, temperatures, nothing warm about 43 tonight. Remember, it's the 5th of September. I had to think for a second. It's not the 5th of October, and we're doing 44, 44, 43, very common numbers across southern Wisconsin. So at night, or maybe you want to shut the door, hopefully shut the window, and maybe have an extra blanket for tonight. As we go into Saturday, beautiful day, 61 on the cool side though, 63 on Sunday. The bonus, as I mentioned earlier in the newscast, is that we're going to have sunny skies. The winds are going to ease up on Saturday. As we go into Sunday, the winds are going to be light. So even though the temperatures will be cool, we'll have that sun, we'll have the light winds, and that's going to make overall for a pretty nice day. But we have the Badger game on Saturday. We have the Packers game on Sunday up in Lambeau Field. Weather is looking overall quite fall-like and quite nice for both of those games. And then we'll see those temperatures warm on up as we head towards the end of the 10-day forecast, back up into the upper 70s. That's when we're going to start to get a little bit more in the way of humidity in the forecast, with low temperatures at night, perhaps getting into the upper 50s to the 60s. So let's break down as we go even further. I always like to be first to show. As we go further into September, likelihood of us staying warmer than normal. So this cold stuff is going to be a thing of the past pretty soon. Temperatures will be right around 60 for that tailgate for the Badger game. Kickoff at 62, and after the win, of course, will be in the 60s, Sarah. And our Packers forecast looking great overall. Again, this is looking like some stellar weather for both the Badger game and the Packer game if you happen to be going up to Lambeau Field, or if you happen to be at the Badger game, just wear some light red jacket or how about a green sweatshirt on Sunday.
I'll take it, either one. All right, it'll be great weather again for Badgers and Packers, and that's it for weather and news tonight. Now we turn things over to our sports director, Andrew Banstra, for the final drive.
Welcome into week 3 of the high school football season. I'm Andrew Banstra, and this is the final drive. Let's get into it. Last season, Madison Memorial lost just 2 games all year. This year, they started 0-2. They look to reclaim some of that magic tonight, looking to beat Middleton for the 2nd straight year. We pick things up in the 3rd quarter, and the Cardinals already nursing a 14-point lead. But the Spartans, they had other plans. Blake Adams hands it off to Manny Lopez, and you can forget about it. Lopez darted, breaks a pair of tackles and finds the end zone, cutting into that Cardinal lead. 14-7 the score, but Middleton, they just always seem to have an answer. Check out that snag there. Joey Passaglia drops back a bomb and lands it into his man's hands, right into the breadbasket. We give you the final score here as Middleton comes out victorious, handing the Spartans their 3rd loss, 35-13, the final score. For my money, it is hard to compare to a good old-fashioned crosstown rivalry. 2 teams that may have stumbled out of the gate, but you can bet everything that they'll bring everything they've got into this one. Madison East versus Madison West, and what more can you ask for? We pick things up in the 3rd, and it turns out the Pergolders could have asked for a whole lot more. Michael Sumian completes a touchdown pass, finding his man, and that would be just about all the Regents need to lock it up. East was able to eke their way to a little bit of defense, but man, what a night for Madison West as they beat them by 7 scores, about 49-0, the final from Lucier Stadium. We turn now to some other scores from around the area, checking out what Wanakee was able to do, and what a game this was. Monona Grove and the Silver Eagles tried to eke their way back into a win, 14-13. The score in this one, it was an incredible game, as we'll come right back into those scores in a moment. What a game it was for Wanakee, who wins 14-13 in overtime. It is called the final drive for a good reason, and we're going to jump right into this game right here, where a fantastic matchup between Sun Prairie East And Oregon, what a season they've had this year. It's been fantastic, and what a way to get things started. If you need to get something done, if you're the Cardinals, give it to Brady Kaufman, one of the best players in the entire state. He's rushing for that Sun Prairie rushing record. He got into the end zone, but Oregon would pounce right back there at the bank of Sun Prairie Stadium. It wouldn't be enough, though. The final score in this one, Sun Prairie East and the Cardinals, they take home the victory. 21-9 is the score. Like I said, it's called the final drive for a reason, because you've got to cruise just a little bit before we get to our game of the week. And our game of the week this week, well, it was an absolute no-brainer. Two of the absolute heavyweights in our area, Lodi and Columbus, getting after it. Two playoff teams from last season, and somebody would be handed their first loss of the season this evening. Peyton Powers, the quarterback for Columbus, he doesn't need his power here. He's got the speed, zips and zags his way past Lodi defenders, giving them such an early lead that their ticket takers, Carol and Jane, a little shout out there, just couldn't believe it. And later it was more Cardinals. This time Powers uses that powerful arm, pumping one downfield, and finds his guy Jordan Mowbray, who moves the chains. Blake Carthew would end up getting it done on the ground. What a rush from him, and what a game it was for Columbus, and a much anticipated matchup. The Cardinals cruise to an easy victory. 42-7 is your final score. Down to Darlington, where some things just seem to never change. The Cardinals, they come out to play every single year, but their undefeated season came to a turning point tonight when they hosted Mineral Point, a Pointer squad that would have their own point to prove. But as always, Darlington does not mess around, getting it done through the air, handing it off, make that on the ground, handing it off to Ryder Fitzsimmons, who stuffs it right up the gut for the early lead. And then later, the Birds, they get it done through the air this time. Who else but Zeke Zuberbuehler? How many times have we said Zeke's name over the last few years? He zips a swing pass for his man Callum Christ, who comes away with it. Darlington gets the job done in this one, and they leave no doubt about it. 56-0 is the final score. Down to Division 6, where Christmas came early. Cambridge and Poynette is about as good of a Week 3 matchup as you could ask for. The Blue Jays got the best of this matchup last year, and the Pumas looking for their payback. Another pair of undefeated squads in Poynette. They came out with that defense early, pouncing with it. Tied at 7 apiece in the third, and they were hungry. And what else could quench your hunger but some sack lunch? How about your man, number 3, Will Frieden, with the sack, and later there was more where that came from. What's better than a big man touchdown? For my money, absolutely nothing. Jack Nels nails the quarterback. It bounces off his teammate, and the big man comes away with it and finds himself in the end zone. But that big playability, well, it would be Poynette's last points of the game. The Blue Jays would score 14 unanswered, and Cambridge takes home the win, and they stay undefeated. 21-14 is your final score. And this may be your last point of the night, or our last game of the night here in the final drive, but it's one you don't want to miss. Highland and Belmont are both undefeated, winning their first 2 games of the season by a combined 162 points. But something had to give in Belmont, and what a game this was. One thing was for certain, defense was not going to be the star of this one. Early on, Belmont with the ball, and Wyatt Temperley put some touch on it, tossing it up for his man, Cody Kletka, who comes out on top, giving the Braves an early lead. And later, Highland says it's high time we score one of our own. Caden Washa wafts a 50-50 ball. Who's going to come away with it? Well, Highland is. What a snag there. What an incredible game this was. But ultimately, Belmont would come out on top, 42-16, the final score. We'll be right back with some more sports. The road to 2-0 starts tomorrow for Wisconsin football. What we saw in Week 1 was partially what we were promised. Their shutout win over Miami of Ohio looked more like Wisconsin football compared to what we're used to seeing in the days past. Danny O'Neal, who came in for the injured Billy Edwards Jr., will be back under center tomorrow against Middle Tennessee State. He's been dreaming of an opportunity like this his whole life, and the quarterback wants to prove himself right.
I've been told I can't do a lot of things in my life, and just being able to prove people wrong, that's just the type of guy I am. So I've been told no, I've been told I don't have a strong enough arm, I'm not big enough, I'm not fast enough. So just being able to go out there and prove myself right, more so than proving other people wrong, is a big thing. And it's something that I just carry that chip with me every single day.
And of course, we're going to look at our score predictions. We did that last week. We're going to do it again today. Actually, why don't we just skip over that? I'll just tell you exactly what we assumed would happen. We'll come back out on camera here and just tell you ourselves before we get into these Brewer highlights that you're waiting for. Eric Franke and Sarah Carlson, they both predict that the Badgers will win tomorrow 31-7. As for Alex Harrington, he thinks the offense is going to be the same, but the defense just a touch different. 31-3 is his score prediction. As for me, I think there's going to be a little bit more offense against a struggling Middle Tennessee State team. My score prediction, 41 for the Badgers, 13 for the Blue Raiders. We'll see who's right, but either way, it sounds like we are Badgers across the board. Now to the Brewers, and it's been a while since I've mentioned this team, the Crew. They have the best record in baseball by a full 4 games. Playing the Pirates tonight out in Pittsburgh, and William Contreras gets the party started early. What's going on over there in left field? Nobody knows where the ball is, but Bryce Durang doesn't care. He's just running 90 feet home and giving the Brewers a 1-0 lead. It would be the same cushion when we skipped ahead in the game, except this time Bryce Durang at the dish. In the 8th, leading 3-2, and he rips one to the left side through that 5.5 hole, and the Crew go on to win it by a final score of 5-2. To the volleyball court, Wisconsin trying to stack together back-to-back sweeps, and this would be a good way to get it started. Natalie Wardlow, she had herself an evening against Chicago State, gets the job done there, and later it's Alicia Andrews slamming it down on Chicago State, and the Badgers were not to be messed with this evening. And really, when are they? What an absolute contest by Bucky, who take it in a sweep, 3-0, the final score. That's it for sports. We'll be right back with not necessarily a final check of the weather, but a final check. We can check off step 1 of our trifecta weekend in football. High school football done. The Wisconsin Badgers play tomorrow at 3, and right here on News 3 Now, you can see the Packers open their season on Sunday. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. Coming up next is The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Our next newscast is coming up tomorrow morning, starting at 5.